What's up, Millinery Nerds? I am John of J. Rich Millinery, and welcome back to my channel. And yes, it's been a while since I've been here. So, I am back, and as you can see from the video, this is kind of behind the scenes of my Design Award entry. So for those of you that don't know the Design Award, it is a competition run by Millinery Australia for their fellow members. I am a fellow member of the association. I'm also on the committee. So, your boy's been busy. Yeah, I've been busy. This is one of the reasons why I have not really been uploading a lot. I've been doing a little bit for Hat Gossip. It's somewhere now, so check that out. That has been going on. There's other things going on personally, so just things have been a little. I do have videos filmed. I do have more videos I'm filming. I just haven't got around to editing them. So that's not what you're here for. You're here for Design Award. I am so excited. Oh my god, I am so excited. So every year there is a Design Award competition for the fellow members. And this year the theme was counterbalance. So this is mine. How freaking amazing. Oh. So first of all, the model Finola, she was amazing. She was beautiful. Well, she is beautiful, not was. She is beautiful. Oh my god, that woman. Chef's kiss. Richard, the photographer, he did some magic. Lisa from Lisa What Productions, who put the photo shoot together, just a vision. Like, she had just had a vision. Love, love, love. And also thanks to Millinery Australia for putting this competition together. So, oh, yes. This was a trial. This was a bit of a trial. It was something I'd not really done. I've done wire work on this channel before, but not perfection like I'm supposed to for this. So yeah, this is kind of like a behind the scenes. If you like what you see, down in the description box below there is a link to the voting because there is a people's choice. So have a look. You don't have to vote for mine. Yes, it would be very much appreciated. You don't have to. There is another 37 entries into this competition, and I do implore you to look at them all and choose the best. If that's mine, so be it. If it's not, so be it. So, without further ado, just want to say thank you for staying with me, and let's roll the tapes. But I had a few ideas on what I wanted to do, and the first thing that really came to mind was bird cages, and I wasn't sure how I would do this. I kind of wanted to go along the idea of, like I mentioned in my intro, the kind of plight of, not necessarily, the idea of what it's like to be trans, non-binary. They're completely different, by the way, but in the same kind of vein, so to speak. So, you know, this sketch I'm sketching now is kind of the finalised version of what I wanted to make. I had, you know, various different ideas. I wasn't sure if I wanted a full cage. I didn't know if I wanted a partial cage. I just wasn't sure. So I sketched out quite a few and then finally came to this design, which morphed as we went along. It didn't end up looking like this, but it definitely was a starting point of like, right, okay, now I know roughly what I'm doing. Let's go on with it. As you can see here, what I'm doing is I've got the basic shape of the cage that I wanted using the blocks that I have, and I'm just making notes of my dimensions of each of the different parts of the hat. So how, like, the circumference, the diameter, how deep, how wide, because I use this to help me mark on the wire where I wanted to join, and also so I didn't waste anything. Like as you can see, what I'm doing right now, you know, I measured the block, but I actually made it further than the block. The circumference was really hard to do, by the way. It actually worked that I made my wires a little bit too big. So, future John, make sure you measure a lot more correctly than you did for this piece. So here you can probably see what I'm doing is I am straightening out my wire as best as I possibly can. Now you'll note I'm only making the small bird cages here because I just wanted to practice off camera with working with wire. I have worked with wire before, but I also wanted to be able to do this without making sure it was on camera, making sure I was in focus. It was hard. It was hard. So what I'm doing here, showing you here, is the small version of a bird cage, which I didn't end up using, and I'm using different thicknesses of wire. So the bits that hold things together, I used a sturdy wire. I think it was a gauge 16, and for supports I used 18, and then to join I used a 32, which is technically a millinery flower wire. Now as you can see, I am marking my support joints to make sure that they are A, correct, and B, in the right place, and using everything with and connecting everything with millinery wire again. So like I said, this is like I said earlier, this is a flower making wire that I got from Silky Flora, I believe. Yeah, this was tricky. To be honest with you, I probably need to take some classes in wire work because I have played with wire and I have worked with wire. I just don't know enough about it, as I've figured out, to really make something which is pristine. I've yet to still figure out and learn from that. So, but here you go. You know, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get that structure, trying to get it all secure. So then when it's all together, it's not wonky. It's not flimsy. I mean, it isn't at all. But yeah, it was a learning curve. Let's say, you know, on a smaller piece, I think it's actually easier. The bigger piece is, you know, the reason why I did it off camera. The bigger piece was, it had to be perfect because you noticed imperfections easier. If things weren't perfectly aligned, you could tell. So I actually did spend a long time, we're talking a couple of weeks, making sure everything was correct, making sure my positionings were correct. I had to take the bigger piece apart several times to get it right. So but yeah, so hopefully you can kind of see how I put my piece together using techniques I've kind of shown you in this section here. Oh, wire wrapping. This took me hours. I must have spent at least, I'm going to say, in total, about 20 hours wrapping this. Because my first wrapping, as you can see here, I'm wrapping all my structural supports. In fact, here you go. You can see here, like, I thought I was doing it right, but actually, it's a bit like knitting. You have to have the right tension because the yarn, which is what I used, starts unraveling, so it looks more like, it doesn't give that defined look that a wrapping should have, in my eyes. I wanted it to look like rope. Yeah, so I'd done all my support joints by this point, and now I'm doing like the chandelier bits, which, you know, spoiler, ended up coming off. Yeah, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. Well, today is Tuesday, and this needs to go ideally in the post by Friday. And I think I'm going to take it to pieces and start again. Not fully start again. Yeah, so this is my plan now. So this is as far as I've got. I'm not 100% happy with it. So, what I'm thinking, I'm going to replace this with, I've got this like velvet ribbon, which I think would work. It's a little bit thicker as well, so it won't take as long to wrap. I also think I'm going to take these off because it's looking too much like a chandelier and not a bird cage. So my thought is, can you see these ones here? These where it kind of loops around and then comes under. I think I'm going to take this off and somehow attach these. Oh my God, why am I doing this? Because I think then I can get that counterbalance look. Because it's not giving me counterbalance at all. You can't even see me through all these wires. So that's change 1. Change 2. Ooh, don't you dare fall over. Change 2. So I spent the last day drawing flowers, putting the first coat of paint, like silk paint, onto these. Excuse me. I'm not doing that anymore. So instead, I have this sequin film. I've got it in pink and I've got it in a blue. And it's pink with a hint of blue and blue with a hint of pink, which kind of works. And I've made loads of flowers, which I'll put a little thing in now. In fact, I'll do it now so it reminds me. So I'm going to use them instead. And then I don't know. And now this has to be sent by Friday. So I better just crack on, really, aren't I? Right, so yeah, as I said, I'm taking all these off, all that work I put in. Yeah, but this is the thing. This has to because it's a design award. I mean, this is my first design award. This has to be perfect. Was it perfect? It was as perfect as I could make it. It was as perfect as I could make it, and that's enough for me. I knew I was up against some very strong milliners in this competition, and yeah, I was hoping that my design would kind of carry me, because I knew my workmanship maybe wasn't on the same level as some people that have been doing this for 20 years. So there was a lot of, let me see what it does. No, okay, let me take this off. And this was one of those frustrating moments of, yeah. But I think the way I went actually really did work. Part of me taking everything off, I realised that the bottom kind of layer, it needed some extra support. So the good thing about taking everything off meant I noticed this and then thought, right, I need to add more supports here. So I made these little like S or Z shape things, bits of wire, and then I just used them to kind of support those two lower wires, so it was a lot more even as it went across, like around the hat. Because that was the one thing I noticed, was I'd pulled too hard on the straw braid, and I kind of made things quite uneven. Here you can see me, what I'm doing is, I'd used a hole punch, like a flower shaped hole punch, and I used some sequin film to make these flowers. And not obviously not on camera. You can see some of these are kind of curved. I actually used these flower tools that my sister-in-law bought for me for my birthday last year. So thank you very much for those, because they did come in handy for this piece. And once I'd kind of shaped them a little bit, I used a pin to make a hole in the center, and then used and then I used a toothpick to kind of glue a bead to the center. Now this, initially what I did is I then painted with, well, it wasn't painted, I used alcohol markers to paint the cocktail sticks. I didn't end up doing that. What I ended up doing instead, I think, in fact, it's not in this video. What I ended up doing instead was taking off that center and putting a wire, like a millinery wire instead, like a really thin flower wire, through a bead and then back through the center of the flower, and then use alcohol markers to paint that and in the colours that I wanted. And I think that worked better. This would have looked a bit too rigid, and I wasn't a fan. So it was definitely, right, let's do this correctly. Let's do this more flower-like, and let's do this a bit more professionally. So, yeah, I ended up changing that. But, you can see this work in progress, and you can see how much work actually went into this, and you can also see how it evolved from learning and going, actually, I thought that was a good idea, but it actually wasn't. Okay, so back to wrapping the actual bird cage. Now, a technique I kind of it didn't come up with was wrap it several times, and just loosely, and then push it across, and use the kind of tension to hold it into place. And it seemed to work really well, because the yarn kind of kept that yarn look instead of fraying and becoming more, I don't know, like string-like. Like, I didn't want it to look like thread. I wanted it to look like rope, so to speak. I think you can see on some of it when it focuses in a little bit, you can see on the white where it really looks like you can see the binding. Now, obviously, I'm on my phone right now, and this was like the best footage I had of this. So, here we go. I think I'm going back to it. There we go. Yeah, and so I'm pushing it across, using tension to hold it, and because I used cotton-covered wire, it actually gripped onto the yarn. So I didn't need any glue or anything to hold it into place. Only on the ends. When I got to the end of a layer, I needed to use a little bit of glue to hold that end into place, but that was about it really. You can see on my desk how messy it is. You can actually see as well, if you look in the background, you can see I used the cocktail sticks, and I did colour them using the markers that are on the table. But yeah, I didn't use these in the end. So the next day, same outfit. Yeah, because I always wear this hoodie. I have various different clothes. I just, on camera, I wear the same like 3 or 4 outfits. I find it just easier to decide on. It doesn't bother me at all that I'm wearing the same clothes. But yeah, back to wire wrapping. Now you can see in the lower corner where my join is, the yarn, you can see there's a join, and I think that was one of my downfalls, was not fully knowing how to join wires, you know, kind of a bit more discreetly. Well, one of many flaws of this. I was advised not to use yarn, and in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done. There was a few in this competition. There was a few wire wrapped, and they were wrapped to an inch of their life. Very, very, very well done. So, yes, like I said earlier, I probably am going to need to get some training, refresher on wire work, but, you know, it's all a learning experience. It's all a learning experience. Okay, so I thought I was being clever with this, and I was really liked how this turned out. I'm actually using 3 strands of yarn at the same time to wrap to give this kind of striped candy effect. Now, I'd already wrapped the hat by this point, and at the end, when I'd wrapped this, I was like, why did I not wrap the entire hat like this? I think that would have been really cool. That would have been like really cool to have it wrapped in a stripe. I don't know. I really liked this. I also wrapped the sides of the hat with a black, as you can see, because I thought that would hide nicely in the hair. And I'm just kind of just showing you like my nice perfect stripes and trying to hide that little lump there. I'm starting to stress now because it's now Friday and I really should have this in the post today. However, I think I'm going to have to post it on Monday. Oh, so I'm a little bit stressed. So I was on a call last night with the International Stitch and Chat with the Millinery Association, Millinery Australia, sorry. And thankfully, Christina, who organises the Barcelona Hat Walk, and is also I think she's the president of the Spanish Millinery Association. She told me, well, basically everybody told me off because I was just adding wire to the back of the butterflies, and that was it. They said I needed to back them. I was like, oh my god, more work. So they showed me a tip. So I'm just gonna show you this. So I'm using this hard, this is like flower making glue, and I have some like cellophane, and I'm just, where am I? Oh, never here. I'm just spreading it out like so, like this, taking my what is it, butterfly, like that, so put it down onto the glue. Peel it off. Add a little bit of wire. I don't need to add much because these are very small. And then I've got some extra silk here, and I'm just sticking it onto the silk, pressing down to ensure good adhesion. And then when it dries, go on, you can form it into a butterfly, and you don't see, come on, and you don't see the wire at the back. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing now. So before I come back onto camera, I am going to get all my butterflies done, I am going to get the rest of my flowers done, and then it comes to assembly. So I'm going to crack on with this because it's hard to do it and to record at the same time. I will be back. Okay, here. So at this point, I have wrapped the hats, and I'm just putting together my counterbalance. So what I ended up doing instead was making a shorter kind of, instead of having that really oversized loops, I did like an S curve, and instead of the 2 cages, I decided to go with 2 different flowers. So one side is going to be like an oversized bouquet of pink and blue flowers, and the other side was going to be like a lonely black flower, kind of a counterbalance of like, you know, it doesn't take a lot of negative comments to kind of weigh down a lot of positivity ish, if that makes sense. So here I am just wrapping. So I did it 2 ways. I did a lot coming up, and then I did half the flowers coming down, so then it would look like more like a ball of flowers. That was the look I was trying to achieve. Here you see me starting the black side of this. So what I did is, once I'd added all the flowers, I wrapped half of the wire in that candy stripe, pink, blue and white. Then it was supposed to transition into a black. I kind of don't like how this turned out. I think I mentioned it in the video later on that I wasn't too happy with it, so I think I did actually go over it again, or I might have taken it off. I think I went over it, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, oh, you can see it here. You can actually see here where that rope effect that I was trying to achieve. So yeah, I just carried on with the black until I got to a certain point. I think I've got the black flower on the end of this as well, which was just one of these regular flowers with that I painted black, and I did some strands of yarn. Oh no, there's no black flower on this, so you don't actually see the black flower. Yeah, I painted that and added some strands of black thread, so it kind of looked a bit more, I don't know what I was trying to achieve, but I achieved what I wanted to achieve with that black flower, at least anyway. I didn't want like just one singular flower. I kind of wanted it to look a little bit more withered and over it. Obviously I have to have some crystals on things because I'm obsessed. There was a join, it needed hiding, so I wrapped it with some, what did I wrap it with? Yarn. And then I didn't like how it looked, so I thought I'd throw some crystals on top, which, you know, usually if I don't like something, I will just throw crystals on. And I had a stash of crystals, so I was like, listen, I'm just going to throw them on here. So yeah, I just thought I'd use up some crystals. It looks cute though. Right, so this is where I'm up to, because I realised I haven't been talking a lot while I've been filming, so this video is gonna have a lot of like voiceovers. So I thought I'd jump on camera and actually have my face. So this is where I am at so far. So I was wondering what to do for these joins, and I tried a black. I used some of the black and I bound it, and it just didn't look right. So I've made some pom-poms using these pom-pom maker things, which seem to be a good treat. So I very much recommend them. I will see if I can find them and put a link to them down in the description box below. So I have that. So it's starting to come together. I'm thinking of putting so I'm doing white here, and then I'm probably going to do pink and then blue at the top. So yeah, there is that. I have got my counterbalance thing. This looks good. Come on, zoom in. So this looks good. I don't know if it's zooming in at all, but whatever. I'll see if I'll put like a shot of that in. I need to rebind this because it just doesn't look right. And I'm not too keen on how the transition works. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some multicoloured pom-poms, some slightly bigger ones. I did one in a different pink that I already had in yarn, just to see the size of it. I kind of like the size, so I'm going to use them when I put it on to kind of hide it. But it's starting to come together. So this is now Saturday. This should have gone in the post yesterday. I'm not going to be able to get it in the post until Monday now. So I do have tomorrow to work on this. I've literally worked on this for hours and hours, doing it, redoing it, taking it apart, starting again. I'm not keen on the bottom still. Well, I like the bottom, but it could be better. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being slightly critical of my own work. And then I just need to. I noticed with the headband when I put it on my head and I put the hat on and I pinned it together, it was wobbling. So I somehow need to figure out some support for that. This is really bad light. My hair's looking crazy. So that is where I'm up to. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I'm going to have to try and kind of figure out how to cut it down, but so I think I'm going to make the rest of the pom-poms, or at least the small ones, get them added. I'm just wrapping them for the time being, so he can see. I'm just adding them on. I've got like a length, and I'm just going to use that to kind of hide on the inside the join, so that's how I'm going to hide that. Yeah, so I think I'm going to do the pom-poms and then I'm going to order some Chinese because he's gone out tonight, which means I'm on my own, which is fine. I need to get this done. So yeah, but let's just see what happens. Okay, so Sunday morning, I have been to the gym, I've had my coffee, and today is the last day I have to work on this. So, last night I made some pom-poms, which kind of just need a little fluffing up today. These have just been tied on just to see what it looks like. I kind of like the strings hanging down though, so if I can kind of lift this up so you can see. I kind of like these. I don't know how much you can see. Let me see if I can see it. There we go. I kind of like the strings hanging down. Is that too much? I think it is. But I do like these hanging down, and I kind of wish I'd have put pom-poms at the bottom of these. But I don't have much yarn left. So, yeah. I mean, what I might do with the white ones, what I might do is the white ones I'm going to tie and cut off. And then the blue and the pink ones, I think I'm going to tie and then tie a knot and maybe put some, like a pearl. I think I've got blue pearls, so I can put blue pearls on, and that will then weight it down so it looks. Oh yes, right. We're onto it. We're onto it now. So yeah, I also need to sort out how to attach the headband. Come on, zoom in. Thank you. No. Yeah, so I need to figure out how to attach the headband and also the crossbar to stop it from shaking so much. Yeah. Oh my God. So much to do. So much to do. But that's where I am. So, yeah. But, and the thing is also, this flower just doesn't seem to work, but I don't have time, nor energy, nor time to fix it. So, yeah, it's going to have to do. So, without further ado, there's a bit of a time lapse. And here I am looking very bloated. This is not a good angle for me. Here I am just adding a little bit of glue to the back of the pom-poms and then wrapping the wire, because I didn't really know how to join these to the hat, so that was how I kind of did that. And then I ended up leaving this to dry and attaching some AB Chinese crystals to the strands that came down of the pink and the blue pom-poms just to weigh it down. I did end up playing around with these because some of them were a little too long and a little too dramatic, which shock horror, I know. So that was that. Okay, so today's Monday. This has to go today. Like, this has to go today. Oh my God. So I spent last night just refining the placement of these droppy crystal thingamajigs, these ones here. What else did I do? I had a meltdown about this section with the flowers because I was like, I just don't know if it's working. But I've played around with it and I've got a somewhat cohesiveness of what it's supposed to do. I also have some white pom-poms which I'm going to use just to put here, just to kind of hide that join, and to put one on the inside to kind of hide that join on the inside as well. What else have I got to do? And then I've just got to rewrap this section. I don't know if you can see, well, you won't be able to see it. In fact, let me zoom in so you can see it. I just got to rewrap this section here because it's looking a little messy. So I just need to redo that. And then I think I'm done. I think. So, ooh, too close. So I am going to, I'm going to rewrap it on here. And because I think this placement is perfect. I like this placement. So, and then I'm going to box it and send it. And I don't know when this video is going out, so I'll probably not do anything now until I get the professional images back. So I won't upload this video until then. And then there's a gala. So, yeah. So that is my Design Award entry behind the scenes. It was a labour of love. Yes, it was. So, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for watching this video. If you have got this far, much appreciated. All my socials will be in the description box below. If you're not following me, they're on the screen now. So I also have a Patreon. So if you like this video, then feel free to maybe chuck a couple of dollars, a couple of pounds my way a month, just to kind of keep producing free content for you. All that will be linked in the description box below, and there are various tiers. I think there's like one tier for videos, and there's another tier for kind of more podcast sponsors. Thank you very much for watching. My name has been John. You have been great. I love you all. Peace. Bye.